like thinking about this for a second. I'm like, excuse me? I'm like thinking in my head, what did I just hear there? So anyway, long story short, we expanded on it, and turns out she walked in on her father a few days or maybe a week after her mother died, I think it was, and found out that he had moved in a woman, and she walked in to her ironing her dad's shirts. So let me just rewind the story so you understand the origin of the daddy issues and how it often comes about with these women, because nobody volunteers this stuff early on. You know, it's stuff that you usually get as you kind of dive in to that rabbit hole of that relationship and see what you're really getting into, and you don't learn the facts of it until you really go deep. So what ended up happening was her mom was widowed with 3 kids. I think her mom's first husband died in a plane crash or something like that. He was a pilot or something to that effect. And the widowed mom, of course, finds a follow-up husband, you know, round 2. Hypergamy doesn't care, so guy signs up for a single mom with 3 kids, and they have a 4th, which was my ex-girlfriend. So she has a pretty good relationship from what I understand with him, you know, as I kind of asked all these questions growing up, but found out at some point that he was responsible for countless indiscretions, which I'm not going to get into. I don't know how true they were, or you really don't want to hear these details because she paints a pretty bleak picture, but countless indiscretions, let's call them. And he was misogynistic, you know, mom was a angel, little feminist mother sort of thing, couldn't have done anything wrong. And anyway, she dies of, I think it was breast cancer or something, like some form of cancer, and she's in her early 20s, by about 22, 23, so early 20s. This goes down. She doesn't want to talk to her father. You know, her father moves in, some new woman pretty quickly, and all this stuff kind of like blows up, and she just has this like explosion and decides to go to Asia to teach English. And by the way, anytime you come across a woman that has run off to go and teach English in a different country, they're usually running away from something. I found this true time and time again from my experience. So just that's kind of another red flag, so watch out for that. I didn't put it in the book, but I just wanted to cover the main ones that expose you guys to the most risk. So anyway, that's the long story of it all. That was the origin of it. She obviously had issues with men. She hadn't spoken to her father for 20 years after that. She basically came back from Asia, married up the guy that pined for her in university, and popped out her, you know, 2.1 kids standard sort of deal, and then divorced him like 7 years later. That's when I got involved with this train wreck of a scenario. So, long story short, my view is to the original question the person asked, which was, what do you think of daddy issues? If she's working on it, should you make an exception for it? And my take is, spin those plates. And all that means is, if you meet a chick and she looks like she has daddy issues, the one that I dated said that she went to therapy for it. But I'll be honest with you, I didn't see any signs of her having dealt with that or putting it behind her, because resentment towards men, or doing something simple for a guy like, hey, can you iron my shirt for me while I'm getting ready in the shower to go to your event? And it's like, I don't iron no shirt for no man. That's a problem. She clearly hasn't dealt with it, sort of thing. So I would just plate him. I would just date him non-monogamously until you see obvious signs that she's dealt with the daddy issues and it's not going to invite problems into your life. Why would you want to invite that into your life? If you're an older, seasoned gentleman and you've got your act together, you got your money right, you're a high-value guy, and you should be spoiled for choice at that point, fine, date him if you want. If you want that crazy, daddy issues sort of chick, sort of sex, go for it.